Hello everyone, this is Tim, and this is going to be a quick little flip through of my adventure, Murcanto's Lair. I had put this out on Drive-Thru RPG, and I believe it's over on RPG Now. I'll make sure to put the links down below when the video is over. But I wanted to just sort of go through it and share some thoughts. This is the first RPG thing, like product, that I put out there that I actually made a little bit of money on. I put it up as pay what you want, and a surprising number of people send me some money, so that was cool. You know, even if it was like 50 cents or $1, you know, that's more than really I expected to make from it. But I was very excited to put it out. It's been out for a while. There was more of a sales spike at the beginning, and, you know, it sort of petered off. But, you know, I like that people can get it for free if they want. They can type in, you know, 0.00 and download it. So that's very cool. And if they want to send me some money, they can do that too. I made sure to put it so that you can preview it up on Drive-Thru RPG, and you can see what you're going to buy before you buy it. But I also wanted to do that in video format too. I might end up just putting this link on the Drive-Thru RPG site just to sort of like show people that, you know, I'm a person and that, you know, just some of my thoughts about what I did, what I came up with, why I made certain choices, that sort of thing. So I'm going to try to go through here and share a screen, and I'm out. So just give me a second here. Like that. So I'm just going to go through and share my screen, and then you can kind of see that there. All right. So that's the front page there. The actual image itself was done by Andre Martinez. Can't talk. The words in the back are a poem that I put in the description on the, you know, the site on Drive-Thru RPG. You know, the inside cover, and we'll just sort of flip through here. Table of contents. Andre picked a nice font there. It's, you know, maybe a little bit pretentious, but I kind of like the way it turned out. Dedicated the book to my kids, my wife, and to my mother, who got me into RPGs. And a surprising number of people helped me out with this project. Andre Martinez was sort of my RPG cheerleader. He really helped me out with a lot of things. He designed stuff. The way this whole thing looks is basically due to his ingenuity and hard work. So I can't give him enough credit. But there are people in the background giving me ideas. Lots of people on there. There's a big list. But yeah, just really a lot of the people in the RPG Brigade, the YouTube sort of thing. A lot of my online friends helped me out, so I'll give you guys a lot of credit. Anthony Boyd and Matt Click helped me out proofreading. There's just a lot of people that helped out. So yeah, Sebastian Allard, Null Inquisitor on YouTube to help out with some of the art and the map. There's my from the author. I basically a monster image that's in the book. But yeah, this is just, you know, just me saying that this stuff is kind of morbid probably to some people, but that's just the way my imagination works. I tend to have a lot of nightmares and stuff, so I try to bring that out when I run games. That's the map that Sebastian did. I sort of had a hand-drawn map with ink, and he took that and made it into like a, you know, vector drawing. A nice little image of a letter there. And I've been told by a couple people that that's not how people write letters. So the next time I make something, you know, this is sort of like, this is supposed to be like a handout to the players, and it explains too much. It gives away too much, I think, you know, in hindsight, but that's what I came up with, you know, during the course of me sitting around on the overnight. It's my group home, just trying to come up with this stuff to put into an adventure. We just kind of get through here. We got the Nevermind Ur, which is this like teleporting mouth sort of creature that's like this big slothy pile of wrinkles and eyes and like dangling lip things. There's spiders and a place that is covered, you know, the walls are covered in flesh. I love this image on the right here of this guy being impaled. And Andre did a lot of these like dark, sort of like opaque outline images, and I think they kind of meshed pretty well with my my little drawings. You know, that's the Nevermind Ur was one I made up there, and Andre came up with the name. But yeah, we just sort of went through and just detailed each area. I want to hold the hand of the GM as I went through this, and not to over-explain things, but I wanted to give some sort of description in there. I tried to pick interesting adjectives, and I really just tried to be weird and bizarre and creepy and just kind of go with that the entire way. So hopefully I pulled that off. Some of the titles of the books I tried to leave as sort of avenues of future adventure for a GM, like for instance, the Death Cult of Gronthanen, Secret Hand Gestures and Signals, plays a part later in the adventure if they read that. There's like just the secret plane of Rithixis. So if a GM reads that, he might, well, what is the secret plane of Rithixis or whatever, so they can come up with that. It can be a future avenue for more adventure. The demonic idol is there, and it had just like feces smeared on a gong and all kinds of dark weird things. There's a lot of references to the strange effects table, and I had a lot of help with that from, again, the RPG Brigade. They gave me a lot of ideas that I kind of tweaked and put all together. Rory, he's sort of this like flesh golem stitched together, just horrible thing that I came up with. It is like the main antagonist, Murcanto's servant, servitor, slave, experiment, all the things wrapped in one. But the sleeping quarters are disturbing. There's like musical plants and just warped things there. The fungal cultists are coming up here. I like to include mushrooms and how the fungal cultists have mushrooms growing out of their skin, and so all these benefits and curses that the mushrooms can give, they can just pluck off their arm and eat them. So that's these guys right down here. So yeah, lots of mushrooms, lots of weird things. I think the fungal cultists would actually be pretty challenging. I didn't actually get to play test them yet, but I did run the adventure once and they were avoided. So hopefully in the future I'll get to run that again. Another awesome job here by Andre on the art with the inverted pyramid. Something that was very strange and something that the players could mess with. They could just kind of like touch it and see what happens. And I wanted that effect to be random. So again, it refers to the strange effects table and what happens. And so there's lots of chance and surprises for both the GM and the players in this, and I kind of like that. When I'm a GM, I like to be surprised. So more art here from me. It might be kind of similar to some art you're familiar with in certain monster manuals, but yeah, I just kind of did my own rendition of those. So there's Ratfolk, and they worship this like slimy brain thing, and again, it's just sort of like like what the fuck, like weird. I just kind of wanted to go with that, and they eat brain matter from prisoners that they take. There's walking nightmares, and it's sort of like a all-encompassing term that I came up with for just weird monsters that are composed of fragments of dreams and nightmares. And again, there's more random chances there. Yeah, and all the titles for these rooms I didn't actually come up with. Andre did. He thought it'd be a good idea to sort of sum up what's in there, and I think that was a good choice. Andre did the pots and the dark art on the right there. The cells, the prison cells, I tried to see. I was carried by the people of Pembertonshire from Lamentations of the Flame Princess, just weird descriptions of NPCs, but I wanted to try to keep them concise as well, so they didn't take too long. Lars, I think, is my favorite, with the guy who's like, he's carving the bones in his own legs. So, and he calls it ivory, so he's kind of out there. So you got the great dreaming intellect, aka the giant slimy brain, that's just monstrous, and it's sort of like a minor deity, like a local deity, I guess you could call it. We got the demonic clock that has a demon imprisoned in it, and depending on if they messed around with the books and the library of Murcanto, they could have a harmed soul. And the way I kind of describe that is, you mess around with the wrong stuff, you damage your soul, and dark evil things can use those gateways, as it were, into your own person. So you have a higher chance of being possessed and things like that. We have the Dwarven Skull. Again, that was Andre's work right there. I thought it was kind of fun to set up a sort of lantern thing that has some sort of benefit, but also has a weird risk to it. So if any dwarves pick that up, they have a chance of dying. So it's like a save versus death sort of thing. And that's because Murcanto just hates dwarves. The author, me, doesn't hate dwarves, but Murcanto definitely does. Not really sure where I got the idea for these pale, giant white-faced things on the end of long neck stalks, but I think I might have had a dream about something like that. Just a very kind of human faces, but not really. And again, the random effects there to maybe walk into the pit or have your face replaced by one of theirs. You know, just more randomness. Figure on the right is a banshee that kind of has troll-like qualities because a troll bled into her grave. We have some snake men, and I couldn't really use the term Yuan-Ti. Kind of thought that was more of a D&D thing, but you know, feel free to use Yuan-Ti stats for them. And there's like pillars that need to be turned certain ways, so it's sort of like a little bit of a like a puzzle to try to open certain doors. It's a giant Guardian Naga, however you want to pronounce it. And I kind of thought that'd be kind of a neat role-playing opportunity, depending on wanted to use alignments for various characters. We have this just creepy nursery rhyme over here that I actually did in a video. I'm going to put everything in a Murcanto's Lair playlist, so you can go over and check that out if you want. Morning Mother, you know, I tried. I guess this is maybe some personal stuff I could throw out there. During the course of writing this, it's kind of personal, but my wife had gone through a miscarriage. So in some weird way, this was my way of dealing with things. The dwarves of Glorna, they have a higher chance of miscarriage and losing children, and Glorna is this upside down faced goddess of fertility. So there's lots of mourning dwarven women that have had miscarriages, lost children, and they're sort of praying to her. And they're around this sort of radioactive magical ore, and that's the reason that they're having so many miscarriages, but they don't know that. So it's kind of sad and tragic, but I don't know. Again, that's just sort of my way of dealing with things, I guess. There's things about curses and you know, this big pile of coins that, you know, the coins are cursed and the weapons underneath, everyone else believes they're cursed, so but they're actually not. But it's one of those things I wanted to throw in there for sort of like just beliefs of the dungeon denizens, the people who live there. The hands are a nice addition by Andre. Of the there's a symbol, not a symbol, but they held up their hands and the Guardian Naga sort of blew them away, and now it's all that's left is their ashes on the wall. There's our buddy Murcanto, and again, couldn't really include it in the adventure, but he's part Slaad, S-L-A-A-D, and again, I think that was a D&D specific term. I kind of wanted to stay from the OGL and just go systemless, but yeah, he's sort of like half Slaad, half human, with this beholder eye just into his chest. He's got this amulet down here that helps him teleport around a little bit. It's sort of like the end of a little scepter. I have a hard time talking today for some reason. But we'll keep going. Torture chamber, trophy room. Kind of like Evil Dead, you know, like the deer head talking to you, except it's like human eyes and hands and legs. More skins, just all kinds of stuff in here. Statue with a mother holding an infant child. Again, just sort of my way of dealing with things. I guess some sort of versus, I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, it just kind of goes through. There's glyphs and devouring ooze. Someone on the Facebook group was asking about how they, you know, could do oozes is an interesting thing, and it's sort of intelligent, and it only attacks if people go to sleep. There's clerical robes that can help out with the old skeleton, the old dwarven cleric. Glorna's blessing. You're very fertile, and your face is upside down for a while. There's a creepy pool, salt water. There's giant insects, and that was probably influenced a little bit by Better Than Any Man, Lamentations of the Flame Princess. There's a poison pool, and I like the idea of the flesh golem too. And again, you'll probably recognize the art. But that's my my rendition of that. But the idea is that Murcanto has this all set up so that if he dies, he's going to be basically put in place of this flesh golem. And if anybody else offers, something like blood to the Thousand Eyes of Chaos, which are the demonic, lords, I guess, of this setting, and they die, well, then they take Murcanto's place. And I kind of set it up that if everyone sacrifices to the Eyes of Chaos, then they all possess the same flesh golem. So that'd be kind of fun to mess with and play around with. Excuse me. Got some appendixes, non-player characters with Murcanto and Rory, random tables for doors. And I just didn't want to describe doors in every section, so that's why I came up with those. And I tried to be weird and surreal and kind of disgusting. There's one that's like a large orifice that quivers and leaks pus. So yeah, that's kind of gross. Random mutations for anybody really, but mostly for the dwarves because they're hanging out down by that magical radioactive ore. Some random traps. And this puppy is 1 to 100. The strange effects table. It's a mix of good and bad things. And I try to be as weird as possible. And again, a lot of credit to the RPG Brigade for giving me some ideas on what to put in there. And wandering monsters, because, those are fun. So I got some just monster art at the back here. Got the face tortoise. And sort of a bizarre, chaotic walking nightmare there. And I call this guy Fry Head because it just looks like he has like French fries sticking out his head. This thing is sort of like a weird it's almost like a clown set up on like 3 just like slothy, like fleshy legs. This thing, it's really kind of hard to see, but it's got legs above and below, so it can flip over. It has 2 mouths with possible eyes in the center of them. This thing with lots of tentacles. And just the end of it. And again, there's the poem. And Gamesmiths, that's the company that Andre put together with Anthony and a few other guys, really helped out a lot with this. Can't tell you how much they really helped with things. But that is pretty much my little adventure. Let's see here. All right. So hopefully you enjoy that little flip through. I'll put a link down below for the place where you can get the PDF. You can do pay what you want. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.